This is Sophie Aldred with The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS.
Hello, fellow Whovians. Welcome back to The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. And wow, Kevo has knocked it out of the park again. I'm just looking at, me being solo and having, these two on either side of me. It's like, just like I was part of the Dot and Bubble. Oh my God. That's so cool. Kevo wins again. Anyways, hi. Welcome, as I said, to The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. We're going to be talking about, that's right, Dot and Bubble. This was this week's episode. We did have a live watch party for it when it dropped. So if you joined us for that, thank you. We will be having another live watch party this Friday for Rogue. But for today, we are talking all about the Dot and of the Bubble. And I'm not going to be rambling on for an hour all by myself. So why don't we bring in some of the rest of the team, starting with the person who made this look so cool. Hi, Kevo.
Hello. Thank you. I love doing it.
Total win. Total win.
Thank you. Also, of course, I want to say it's June, so happy Pride. It's gay Christmas up in here. A large amount of our regular contributors on the show identify as members of the LGBTQIA family and allies, whether it's Simon Fisher-Becker and Tony, whose music you just heard, the brilliant Mackenzie Fleur, whose commercial we're going to hear later, or me, who's done the cover for almost every single episode of this show. There isn't a single episode of the Traveling TARDIS that isn't helped or supported by queer people. So happy Pride. And plus, it's just great to celebrate things. I pointed out Asian American and Pacific Island heritage and Jewish American heritage last month. I forgot it was also Mental Health Awareness and National Military Appreciation Month. So, there's so many things to celebrate. And I just love celebrating things. I love holidays. We all love holidays. So, happy holidays. I'll get a whole list of what else there is to celebrate this month by the end of it. Maybe I'll get lazy. Who knows? I'm doing all these.
The days you have a live stream.
Okay, yeah.
That'll cut it down to only 3/4 of the month.
Even if we had an episode for Talk Like a Pirate Day, there's always something fun to be doing or celebrating or showing your support of people or just having fun in this world. And we need more of that. And so there you go.
All of the more of the fun.
All of the more of the fun. That should be on our shirt.
There we go. What do you think, Melanie? Should we make some T-shirts to say all of the more of the fun?
I like the idea of all of the more of the fun. It's a long hashtag, but I think maybe it could get some traction. But no, I like that. And honestly, I'm with Kevo on the more that we can celebrate, the better. There's plenty of room in this huge celebration that we can have, so we can celebrate many, 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 many things. Because I don't want to say I don't hate, but I hate when people think that you can only celebrate one thing, and it's no, we only have 12 months of the year. Let's all just have as many celebrations as we can all month long. So
celebrations are not
happy
pie.
Pride. Just happy, yes.
Except for on March 14th, then all of the celebration is all about pie.
Well, yes, of course.
Well, but then that's the thing.
We just had me before, so yeah. So yeah. Yes.
What I don't know. What? Hey, Rev. Hey, Rev. You got any good anything to celebrate? He's busy having food. All right. Hey, Nick. Got anything fun to
He loves celebrating pie, so you know that.
Holidays. Well, it was my dad's birthday last week, and I said, "Well, you haven't had any birthday cake yet, but you got the whole year to have some cake and enjoy and celebrate." It doesn't mean we just have to celebrate one day or 1 month. We can just keep on partying if we want to.
Exactly. All right, now I'll stop being a jerk and I'll bring.
Woo!
Woo!
Who is that?
Woo! Rick.
Nice.
Woo! $4. Oh yeah.
$4 for Ric Flair. That's nice. Or possibly overrated. I don't know. I'm not a giant Ric Flair fan. Woo! Woo!
Anyway,
so we're gonna celebrate Ric Flair Day. I don't know. Let's see what let's bring on our special guest. He won't be on camera. YouTuber. Our philosophy is. I just had a great conversation with him right here on the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, as well as on my channel, TheRatHole.ca, talking about some of the ratings and how to kind of understand and how they come about the ratings that we're seeing for Doctor Who specifically, but in general, but specifically for Doctor Who. And he's agreed he's going to come join us for this review. Hi, Sean.
Hey, how you guys doing?
I think we're all having fun.
Hello. Happy to have you here.
What would you like to celebrate? Since we're all doing celebrations, what would you like to celebrate? Doesn't have to be real; it could just be fun.
I would like to celebrate. I mean, this isn't just this month, but let's just celebrate having Doctor Who back on our screens this year, right? I mean,
yes,
it's fantastic. Yeah,
that is 100% a win. I agree completely. It's been a busy day for all us. It seems across the board. So I want to thank everybody who's taking the time to join us and whatnot. If you are over on X watching us, please pop over to preferably our YouTube channel, but really wherever you want, YouTube, Facebook,
YouTube and
Twitch,
Facebook are the ones that you're going to be able to interact with. So for me to be keep hearing the clicking,
Twitch is
There's a
fine.
lot more
You can
goodies there.
interact on Twitch. We can see the Twitch. We just don't do a lot there. But yeah, X. If you type something in an X, we're not going to see it. But everywhere else, we can bring up all these lovely comments that you see at the bottom. Those are wonderful. You are wonderful viewers in the other social medias, in those various bubbles. And I think the more comments we have today, the more apt it is, because we are talking, because Dot and Bubble is kind of a lot of this, like especially this view. We look like we're in the show right now.
Kind of, yeah.
I'm wondering if the Doctor and Ruby are trying to warn us about something. They're right there.
Exactly.
I don't look like I'm in the show. I look like I just got blocked.
Yeah, you're offline. You got slugged.
Yeah, maybe I got slugged. Yeah.
I think that's what we're gonna call it now. We're getting slugged. Is that
Well, they're called man traps, apparently. That's what the script term, that was what was revealed in Unleashed, is what the actual creature is being called in behind the scenes. So I guess you got man trapped.
Okay. I'll go tell someone that with no context.
Yes.
Oh, none. Absolutely. It'll go great.
Come back and let us know how that goes.
Yeah, I sure will.
No
but yeah, no. And Andrew was nice and joined us for the viewing figures. So thank you, Andrew, and anyone else who did. Sorry, I didn't mean to take down whatever you had there, Melanie. You can bring up whatever you were. I kind of interrupted. Sorry.
No, everyone just kind of talking quickly about William Russell and his passing.
Mm-hmm.
William Russell, one of the original companions of Doctor Who, passed away earlier today.
So another celebration of life.
Yes,
as it were. Yes. So bringing up
Who did William Russell play? I'm sorry.
Ian Chesterton.
Ooh.
Okay,
Ian
I
Chesterton.
thought so. That's a shame. Yeah, because he was in Power, and then I really like Ian Chesterton's character. So that's just that's sad to hear. I didn't know that until just now. But yeah, celebration of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it literally just happened earlier today. Like I know I was starting to find out about it as I was driving back to town to do our shows. So it's just kind of making its rounds through the internet now.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was great that he was able to come back into the fold.
Yes, for a brief cameo.
Yes.
Depending what happens with all of the rumors of Susan Foreman and Caroline Ford, that'll be extra interesting. Did William Russell show up to or was he invited, or could he make it to the premiere? Because I know Caroline Ford did.
Yeah,
she was there. I don't know if he did or didn't. He may
I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I know he was in Power of the Doctor, so we got to see him reprise the role again. Yeah, I don't know if he made it to that.
I'm not mistaken. Was he the first actor to ever speak in the show? I don't remember if it was Ian or Barbara who spoke first. But that's just really crazy, because I just rewatched Unearthly Child the other day, and I don't remember that, but that's just like I remember him being back in Power, and just how crazy that is, that like basically the first of three companions was back in the show. I just thought that was great.
Yeah, it was. That scene was so wonderful, and I hope we get more of it. Just kind of in general, I would love to see more.
I hope that with Sideways Regeneration that we're going to be able to see that, and especially with even to his credit, Chibnall starting that little, hey, we're going to start showing more of the older Doctors, not just in like how RTD did it with the Tennant episode where Davidson was in there for the Children in Need special. Mm-hmm. So being able to do it in an actual episode during the Chibnall era, and now we're getting like Sideways generation. So hopefully going forward, as maybe we'll get to the 75th and then the 100th and all that kind of stuff, we'll keep seeing other Doctor Who actors and the Doctors themselves, and then all the companions kind of showing up, reprising roles.
For sure.
We could do a whole other show just on that.
Maybe we will.
And maybe we will. I mean, there will. Rumor has it, and it's on IMDb, which is as good as confirmed, that we are going to be seeing Sean Pertwee as his father's third Doctor.
Really?
As well.
Yes. That was it. Was like, I think this is a rumor. I think this is. I went to IMDb myself, where they had photos of him and him in the cast list, and that is industry. You need to be in the industry to be able to edit that.
Yep.
That is as good as.
And it's
as
eerie
confirmed.
too. He's such a dead ringer.
Yeah,
He's really
that is fantastic.
Yeah. So I was saying that I always wanted him to be 13. I wanted to basically have 13 as 3. Almost basically doing the David Tennant 14 thing.
Yeah.
That came around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would have been, that would have been fun. But no, I love Jodie, and I'm happy. I'm so thrilled we're gonna get Sean in here. Now it's just a matter of who do we get, or do we get our second Doctor?
Maybe he'll be 16.
It was that's also a thing. No, because why can I never remember his darn name? The guy that played 2, the guy in
Patrick Troughton.
No. In the movie with David Bradley. He's a bigger name, and I can't remember. He was the only casting in that show that I didn't love. I didn't think he was a very good Patrick Troughton, but Canon said if David Bradley's come in, that means he's our new second, as far as I'm concerned, like him or not. Anyhow, we're running amok here, so let's get some numbers going here.
Well, we're sitting amok.
We're getting lost in the dots and bubbles.
yes.
Risse?
Yeah, Shearsmith. Yeah. Risse Shearsmith. Yeah. So thank you, Kevo. The amazing Kevo's so good at looking stuff up on the fly like that.
What I do.
Yes, exactly. So Kevo, since we're praising you, talking about you, what 1 to 10, how many TARDISes do you give the one and only Dot and Bubble?
Everything that I am giving this season, I hesitate to give anything a 10 yet, because I am so anxious about everything and so nervous about how all the arc is going to land out. This is the closest that has gotten to a 10 for me so far. I think I'm going to hold it at a 9 though. But this wasn't just great. It sort of made me rethink a lot of the season and elevated a lot of what I've already seen in a lot of interesting ways. And I really feel like the show is getting on track. So I'm going to go with 9.
Okay. That's a good start. Melanie, what do you have to say? What are you going to?
I'm everything that Kevo said is absolutely correct, and I love him for it, and it's absolutely 100% accurate. But however, I'm going to the 10 again, because the last 2 episodes for me were just amazing, and I'm still on this roller coaster high of, again, I have a 3rd episode in a row just completely knocked it out of the park for me. My husband, who's kind of stopped watching Doctor Who, he just wasn't feeling the stories anymore. He wasn't feeling the writing for it anymore. Whatever, he wasn't feeling it. He'd still watch it, but he was just like that passion for the show was kind of gone. He has even said, to me, he commented to me today that this is 3 for 3. These are the best episodes he's ever seen of Doctor Who, and now he's it's bringing him back into it, where he's he can't wait for Comic-Con. He's just, and for me, I'm like, again, absolutely stellar episode. I'm giving it a 10 again. All right,
so we got a 9, we got a 10. Let's go with Tom. Tom, what do you say? What do you give this?
Everything Kevo and Melanie said are correct. But because I need to dissect it, because that's what the other show is going to be about, I brought it to an 8.
Okay.
Fair. That's absolutely fair.
Totally fair.
Yeah.
And Nick, what do you say?
Tom, I can't believe you're giving it an 8. I really like this episode, and I'm going to give it an 8.
I give it an infinity.
So we got 2 8s and a 9 and a 10. And what is our special guest, Sean? What do you 1 to 10 TARDISes? What do you give Dot and Bubble?
Oh boy! So
there are no wrong answers.
Do not be afraid to give it a 3. Not even
No.
joking.
Okay.
Nope.
Oh no,
No wrong
no.
answers.
I am not going to give it a 3. I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay.
4 TARDISes out of 10. I just have to say, this has nothing to do with Ncuti. This has nothing to do with Millie. I can get into it a little bit more later. It's to do with what this episode is in the current context of social media and kind of understanding what we know about how it affects people and things like this. I thought this episode was a little out of touch, and I can get into that a little bit. But just because of how it came together, I'm going to give it a 4, but it's the highest 4 I've ever given any episode because I liked pretty much everyone in this episode. I thought that they were firing on all cylinders. I just had an issue with the script. And it's weird because Russell has delivered a couple of 10s for me, like, since last year. So it was really weird for me to do that. But I 4 is where I have to stand. I have to give it a 4.
Okay. That's fair.
Of course.
And that's the thing. It doesn't matter what somebody rates it. It is, it as long as we can respectfully discuss it, because not every episode is going to be fair. That's what this show is all about. So it's actually kind of nice to have someone not quite in sync with everybody else.
And
traditionally, lowest score goes first, so be prepared for that.
Yes.
But
it's true. So with that being said, let's just take a quick look at some of the fan. If you're watching, please put your ratings in the comments. I see Andrew there. This is another 9 from me, along with Boom and 73 yards. 3 9s for the last 3 episodes. Gadget gives it a 7. Do we have any other ratings in there? 8 because of the ugly understory that I didn't even see on the first viewing, which is valid. We got Roger just popped his up there with an 8. So yeah, please keep throwing those in there. Oh, here we go. Doctor Who at 60 and Beyond gives it a 7. Okay, so keep those ratings coming as you're watching. And again, if you're watching this over on X, by all means, please pop over to the YouTube channel so you can give us your ratings as well, wherever it is that you happen to be watching this. And what I think we're gonna do is now that we've given fair warning to poor Sean,
and Sean, Dave gets to do his very last.
Yes, I do mine very last because I'm the host. So
he's in the tall chair.
Host's privilege. So yes, Sean, you gave it a 4. You said you'd come back and tell us more. By all means, tell us more about why you did that.
Sure. Yeah. So I want to say that it might have been lower, but I thought at the end, the way that flippant racism was portrayed was so on the dot. I raised it a star or 2 for that. Just because it kind of was bittersweet for me because it was at the end of this episode, which I've heard other people say that as well. Like, I really wish this scene would have been on the end of another episode, but like having rewatched parts of it and just seeing, I apologize. What's the main character's name? I watched it twice. I really should remember this.
Lindy.
Lindy. Yeah. Seeing how Lindy treats Ncuti. I mean, and I like that, the commentary on that, I think they did not hit it with a sledgehammer. I think it was very subtle to the point where I think a lot of people missed it or maybe even interpreted it a different way. It kind of did that Rod Serling, the Twilight Zone thing where you can kind of interpret it multiple ways. But to me, just the disregard for someone who can help you because they're different and not having it be an overt scene of someone saying something explicitly terrible, just being like, no, you're not part of this, and just walking away. To me, that really resonated with me. So I'm going to start with that positive. What I have to say is my issue with this episode basically is that I think it gets social media exactly backwards in a twofold way, because the way this episode portrays people on social media as being very sort of toxically positive, right? Like we're trying to keep up the good feeling, and we're not trying to look at the bad going on around us, because there are literal
happiness all day.
Yeah, precisely.
Kindness all day.
Yeah, kind of like like almost happiness patrol vibes there, but less lethal, I guess, from the people. Yeah. But on the other hand, you get some negativity coming from Lindy when it comes to the way she, her like blocking the doctor. And so basically, my issue with this is, if you're on YouTube, and you guys know this, or you're on social media, you can't get away from the negativity. Even if you're trying to be positive, a lot of the time, the negative people will find you. And the algorithms, they prioritize engagement. So things that will send you down a negative rabbit hole, even if you aren't looking for them, even if you're just looking for a movie review or something, they will send you in that direction. And to me, the toxic positivity comes from the social media platforms, not the people. So in other words, if you're talking about a recent news story, Facebook might detect too many words that you say and think that you're saying something hateful when you're not. And they'll say, no, you can't have this. It's not good for our business, right? Even if you're talking about something that just happened in the news or something. But when you're talking to people, a lot of the time, things that boost negative interactions are going to be put to the forefront. So my experience, it's usually the social interactions with people that are the negative part. And it's the company that's pushing the toxic positivity. But in this, it's kind of the robots or the AI that came to hate you, right? And it's the people who are have their blinders up and don't want to look at what's going around. And in my opinion, if you're on social media, you can't not look at that stuff. You're constantly bombarded by it. And I think on top of that, I think scientifically the opposite is usually true with kind of how this is portrayed, which is that I think typically people who put their phones down are actually much happier with the world. And they're not, the people who have their, social media, the internet, and I know I'm getting in the weeds a little bit. I promise I'm coming back to Doctor Who, but like social media, YouTube, it exposes you to negativity in a way that putting your phone down and walking around in the real world does not. And when you combine that with the fact that Lindy and her friends are portrayed as, oh my God, we have to work for 2 hours a day. Ugh, ew. Like it's very shaking fists at people and saying, oh, you millennials and your technology, you're just not facing the real world. And that leaves such a bad taste in my mouth. Because I love Russell T Davies. He's done more for Doctor Who pretty much than anyone has in a long time. Like there were two people who got Doctor Who really going, right? And those two people are Sidney Newman and Russell T Davies, right? Those are the people that got the show going. But no matter how well intentioned Russell is, he does live in a very different social media experience than people like me and you guys do, right? So I think with the best of intentions, he took an idea that he had and executed it kind of backwards, and portrayed this toxic positivity as being the fault of the bratty people who are using the social media, and not the fault of the companies and the algorithms that they use to try to turn their profit. And because of that, ironically, because of the kind of twofold system there where they're prioritizing the toxic positivity, but also prioritizing engagement and trying to balance those things, and it's a PR nightmare. Because of that profit motive, I think we suffer a lot of the time for what we're, all the negativity we're kind of exposed to, especially with the stuff like the it's not even recent at this point, all the negativity around Doctor Who when the BBC decides to do something remotely inclusive. I'm not a person who seeks that stuff out, but there was a time where YouTube decided to put my videos in front of a bunch of those people. And I had to delete a couple of my comment sections because I wasn't even talking about that stuff. And so Yeah, well, I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. So because of that, it just really, and I don't want to make it sound like I just have a chip on my shoulder about this, but I think the commentary it was trying to make, I think for part of it, it utterly failed. But again, at the end, when it came to depictions of privilege and in-group, out-group, I think at the very end, it hit the nail on the head. That's why I brought it up to a 4, if that makes any sense.
So what I'm hearing here is that with Russell is that you really think that Russell T is living in. I'm sorry, I have to do this, people. I have to. You see it. It's coming. It's coming. You say that Russell T Davies is living in a bubble. I'm sorry,
a little bit. I think a little bit, but the difference is I don't think Russell is like Lindy. Choosing not to put the bubble down. It's just everyone has their perspective, and I respect the heck out of Russell for trying. I mean, he's done a lot of inclusive things, right? But it's just sometimes people make mistakes, and I don't think I'm not angry with him about it. I don't think he did anything immoral. I think it was just a little bit of a misfire.
Okay,
but that's just and there are some other things in the episode too. Just like the practicality, like I don't understand why you would ever program something that's meant to optimize your happiness to have the capacity to get annoyed with you. Just those kinds of things just made it all kind of not. And it was just like, you know what? I'll watch next week. I'll be excited. But that week, it just didn't come together for me. That's my master's thesis on Dot and Bubble. So
that is totally valid. 1 second here.
Hope I didn't run too long, you guys. I apologize.
No, not at all. So anyways, what we are going to do, because we were at that exact time, I debated doing this before throwing you up there, but we're going to do a quick commercial break here, say hello to a couple of our wonderful friends. And so we will be back. I just have to make sure I'm in the right place because I got so many things that it's absolutely a disaster.
It's a lot of buttons, I know.
Exactly. So yes, but thank you, and we'll be right back. Become part of the legend.
Oh, brilliant! It's hard to believe that in the 56-year history of the greatest sci-fi television show in the English language, there has never been a fan guide to Doctor Who. The official books might give you what they think you need to know, but only a guide written by a true fan will give you what you really want to know. Join Whovian, the brilliant Mackenzie Floor, as she takes you on an intensive journey inside the world of the first female Doctor. In the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who, Season 11. Right, let's get a shift on.
Yeah. Hold on. Yep, we're gonna too many things. There's more commercials.
Push the button.
Push the button.
Hey everybody, welcome back to an all-new X's for Show, your premiere show for streaming media content.
A great creative team and a great concept that is years in the making.
That's certainly one of the interesting things about this as a program.
Hot names, even hotter ideas.
The silliest version of every single one.
Hot names, even hotter ideas.
Everybody is so even-keeled. That is a nonsense thing that you just said.
I'm not wrong. I've seen all the films.
I get what you're saying. I hate it.
It's really ugly to call out a genius on air.
Nobody screams at each other and goes,
I will fight you! Wow, what a great moment for our show.
Truly, we did it.
This would be a great jumping on point for you.
2,000 episodes in.
Every weekend and Wednesdays.
Shows no signs of stopping.
You can check the show out at X's for Show.
Come on. I mean, we've got a show, baby. Just, you gotta trust us. It's gonna be good.
Meet the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
But not the one you were expecting.
All right, sexy. It's time to go home.
Doctor Who Velocity. Streaming now.
All right, we're going to do one more live one because, of course, I couldn't get it going right here. There we go. Boom. It's me. Look at that. It's me. Coming up after this episode of The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS on TheRatHole.ca, or if you are on the YouTubes, it is TheRatHole DOTCA. And I've got it right here somewhere. Or on Twitch as well. There. Is it Twitch? There we go. There it is. Please join me as I open this wonderful, giant, fancy box that I've been teasing everybody with. For how many weeks have I been teasing this box?
Oh, look at you!
We're so
Knocking out
teased.
the actual addresses and stuff like somebody.
I know, right? Look at that.
Unboxing.
Crazy. Not showing off my personal information to the
Wish
internet.
I thought that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to be opening this up at. It is now 6:37, so it'll be 9 o'clock for East Coast people, 7 o'clock Mountain for me. I'm going to be opening this up live. It's going to be absolutely amazing, and it is only going to be live. I will be then taking it down. No video on demand. So please pop over and watch that with me. You're going to have fun. You're going to have fun. I'm going to have some great guests commenting along with me. But this. I know what's in the box. You have no idea how hard it's been for me not to open this box. But that being said, do I have a coin? Do I have a coin I can flip? Oh, give me.
Do you have a die you can roll?
I do have a die.
Yeah.
I'm going to move that giant box. I'm going to bring up this extra camera.
Die you can roll. Odd or even.
There we go. What do you want? Pick a.
Odd.
Odd or even.
Even.
Tom wants
Even.
odd. All right.
Because we're all odd.
Odd.
I'm even.
Oh my God! Don't make
Even
me-
Steven. Oh!
Two.
Two.
Either you have any hands or it's a huge dice. Or
No, that is a huge dice. It is a
What's
huge
we roll
dice.
for?
Oh, Dave has huge hands.
One.
And a big head.
It's got these little rubbery dots from Kess Entertainment. They do like,
That
yeah,
seems
Kess
fun.
does some great games, but also like great just
I know, right?
toys. And like this thing bounces. Can I
Bouncy, bouncy,
see if I
bouncy.
can make it bounce up? That's not
Bouncy,
nope, I
bouncy,
can make it bounce over there.
Yeah.
bouncy, bouncy.
Nice.
Now he's just showing off how many big die he has.
With slightly smaller
And
D6s.
now how
Yeah,
many?
one.
he has.
Also bounce.
so he does have dice, is what you're saying.
Yeah. He
Yes,
might have
yeah.
Within arm's reach. All right. So, Nick, you were even. Is that
I
correct?
was even.
All right. So, Nick, you
Even
gave
Steven.
it an 8. Why did you do that? I will take my banner down. You don't.
Forever blowing bubbles. That's for Mark. Okay, I made some notes. Hang on. Nah.
Yes. Roll it.
Proclamation.
All right. So 8 out of 10. It was so good. I really liked it. I loved, anything that kind of looks at our society from a science fiction point of view in an intelligent manner always fascinates me. RTD's a great writer. He's great at switching between, comedy and tragedy, seriousness and lightness. Many of his episodes make me laugh and cry. And he did a really good switch towards the end of this one. Something going on behind the scenes, which was really effective, was the music. It wasn't in your face. It was just playing underneath, doing everything it needed to do to create this world. And then at the end, it became more traditional Hugh music. So that was really cool. I loved the idea that, as we mentioned earlier, Lindy is so focused on her soch that she can't even walk straight, because you do see people tripping, you see people bumping into things, you see people making poor fashion choices, because they're so stuck with their phones. We have this addiction going on that we're not really addressing. So this show addresses it a little bit. We got all the references to video games. Simplest is, move forward, move sideways, left, right. So that was really cool. And the little details as well. So we had like the little text, the icons, the slug lines under the characters. The kids had a lot of followers. The mum, she only had about 3,000 followers. Poor Susie.
More than Gotham Hall.
Yeah, or none at all, right. So those little details are great, and they really help to build a world, a futuristic world, a different world. It really helped with that too. I thought Callie Cook was great. She was she was interesting. We wanted to like her. We cared about her. She held the story together because it's a Dr. Light episode. But in the end, we had a couple of flips. We didn't like her so much. So a couple of reasons why I didn't give it a 10. First was the reason for the order of the kills. I was expecting something more complex. It was like the perfect idea for a Sarah Jane adventure, for example. I needed to be, exercising my brain a little bit more. And they made a big deal out of it as well. Why are these people dying in this particular order? So that got -1 from me. The other one was the fact that the Doctor doesn't solve the problem. His solution is to run away. His solution is to, take the bubble people away in his TARDIS. He doesn't even encourage them to go and build a life for themselves, which would be a perfectly valid doctorish thing to do, right? Yeah, go and survive. Go and build a new civilization. So that gets another -1. Otherwise, an awesome episode. The turnaround at the end, it was a bit overt for me. I like my science fiction a little more subtle. It makes Galaxy 4 look subtle. It's like, don't trust appearances. Okay, we get that in Galaxy 4. Now we have someone relying on appearances rather than people's actions, and not a big deal. Didn't hurt my points, but I thought I brought it up.
To be fair, there are people who still, with the internet going, "Oh my God, that was the point," still don't
or
understand
saying it's not. Saying it's
exactly.
not
Like there's still people out there denying that was the point. So I think it was subtle enough. But a lot of people weren't. I actually missed it the first time, and it was only because I was not paying close enough attention that I just kind of, that makes total sense after the fact.
The thing is, we're so polarized now. There are terrible people in the world, and we need this kind of unsubtlety. We need to be kind of have this stuff brought to our attention. We need to be reminded that there are people who do judge others by how they look or their preferences. So sadly, we do need that. I do approve of it. It was just, okay, we're going to pop that in there too.
Yep.
It was very effective. It was very dramatic. I loved it. But come on, could have come up with a more of a complex reason why these people were dying in a certain order. Is it their DNA? No.
They clearly needed it for and I keep going to call him Ricky Springfield, the Ricky September twist to do Coombs. I saw someone be like, I thought it was going to be they're going in follow order. Like they would go after the people with fewer followers first because they wouldn't be noticed. But he needed it for the Combs twist, which unfortunately is a trap a lot of writers fall into.
Yeah, exactly. It was for the story, the plot, rather than for building this complex society, which RTD did a really good job of otherwise.
Agreed. Let's see. Rev, you got the odds, so let's see what you also gave it an 8. What hit, what miss?
Alipop, oh, lali, alipop.
Okay, well,
cost
that
me
was
$2 a bear tastes good.
To be fair, that's about as sensitive as the Nitsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny Yellow Polka Dot Patini.
Hey, that song hits and it hits hard. That slaps.
I love that she kept singing that.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah,
she worked for the first time today.
So what worked, what didn't, Rev?
Okay. The tune of how I see the tune of how I see social media. Okay, I don't know why I wrote that, but that's what I see. That's how I see people on social media. All these little things here and there, being on Instagram and X-rated.
What up?
The shallow, truthful. That's what I see it. Someone said the slugs were the good guys.
Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah, when someone says it, it's like, ooh, slugs. Yeah. Who has the salt? Who has a big shaker of salt? Does they go? Jesus, help us! But no, they're actually the good guys, getting rid of all these stupid people. Dr. Light, no big deal to me since what's the second episode. it did not need to surround him, and it had to surround the girl with. She's like, "Oh, I'm so stuck up and everything, but this is all I can do." And then it kind of I felt sorry for her because she was, trying to escape.
Yeah.
But then again, what she did at the end, towards the end, I was kind of. Anyway, Susan Twist, but not.
Mummy.
Yeah, waiting for Dave to talk about that one at the end of the show. We did see.
There's always a twist at the end.
There's always a twist.
Exactly. We did see the sonic screwdriver. It's blue.
Again.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bubble Society pushing but dated. I wrote that. I still know that. To me, it wasn't dated. Everything seemed fine to me. This is what I see how things are. Someone said she kind of represented Donna Noble towards the beginning. I guess so. So self-centered and such, but
interesting.
Only at that slight beginning. Everything else was like, Lindy,
like they would have been friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Donna would just slap her in the face.
Not for very. They would have been friends, but not for very long.
Not for very long.
When we met her. Yeah.
Lindy was. I know people like that. Not bothered. Again, in the bubble. I mean, I can understand. With the how I am. Is this like mental illness month again? I don't know. Or every freaking day.
Every day.
No diversity. So that's the ending hit me hard. It didn't knock off the points. It made me feel better. I felt more towards the Doctor. I mean, I love Ncuti. I love him. He's a great man. He does right for Doctor. How the ending is, how he just got furious, started saying,
Yeah.
I would shake his hand. I had no problem with Ncuti. He's a great doctor. Slugs again. Where's the salt? Dr. P. You don't have to pee anytime soon, do you? You have kidney problems.
That was funny.
You need dialysis. Your kidneys have
3
shut down
days.
from-
It even said this is your third day or something like that. It was like her second day. It was something like
third
in a row. It's like no waste. Good for you. And I'm going, you're kidding.
And you've got a
was
long
right
day.
yesterday.
You need to drink a glass of water right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just gonna have some problems.
Yeah, not a fan of the. I do get where the doctor was coming from on that, and then because there are people who live and die by their apps. Have I drunk enough water?
My mom has
Yeah, I know some girls that
have I gone to the bathroom yet?
Yeah,
Have I
there's
taken
3
my
people
meds?
I know that have that button, hydrate button. I think Mackenzie does as well. So that means 4 girls I know that do that. Okay. Ricky September, ill-fated hero. I know all about that.
Yeah.
Here's let's go to the negative. The dots created the slugs to eat everyone. Was the parents trying to get rid of their bratty little kids kind of thing? And then why did they create the slugs in the first place? They just go kill them off anyway. And the alphabetical thing, so I gave half a point each there. I didn't want to drop it down, but
I want to say because it was just fun to play with your food.
Yeah.
Kind of to torture
Remind me
them.
of, like little tardigrades where they look like big old
the slugs.
sluggy
The water
bears.
bears. I love
Salt,
tardigrades.
Yeah.
nastiness.
My dad had a good idea about why the dots create these monsters. It's because they want these shallow people to experience terror before they die. They've have this insipid existence, and now they want the people to be horrified before they go. Feel this
The
different
dots are
emotion they've
Pennywise,
never
like-
felt.
Yeah.
That's
My
bad.
dad is my dad.
So 8.5 is my score now. The betrayal part, how she's like, well, you're not one of us. It was okay being on the screen, but wow, you. I hope my lips were not red there because I didn't move the microphone high enough. Guys, did I do that in my show? Doctor's frustration, big thing that I felt for him. And the other negative, why was it deadlocked? Why couldn't? Well, it's a good thing he couldn't get in there because didn't need the TARDIS, or either of them get eaten by slugs one way or one out. I'm the doctor. I'm Sunday. I'm lasting for labor.
You know,
But-
I think it's just been a while since something has been double deadlocked and we've had to say, but why? And the answer is because. Like, it just is double deadlocked. And, like, that is something that has been a frequent recurring trope that I remember of Doctor Who that I think either fell off for a while or we just weren't getting consistent episodes, so I forgot. Not sure.
So it's a good thing he didn't get in. It's like, where's the TARDIS? Oh, the slug ate it. No. The whole moral thing is like, oh yeah, we created all this stuff, and now look, you did this to your kids. Now you're dead. So for the Doctor to give up, well, my doctor would too, because he gave them a chance, give them a choice. Like, you know what?
Crap.
We'll just go on our way and fight those bears, because bears are better than men, or whatever that thing was going on the last couple weeks. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Internet stuff.
No,
Pop the bubble.
all very good points.
I'm trying, Dave. I'm trying.
This episode has been an absolute just brain exploding type thing. It's like every time I open my computer in the last week, there's a new layer of the onion to peel back. It's like, oh
my!
I didn't realize that. And even the ones that are not necessarily, you mentioned, why was the Doctor locked out? Someone had mentioned today, well, was the dome itself being racist in locking him out and locked Ruby out because she was with him?
Maybe.
I don't think that was the case. But the fact that we have to, that's a possibility given the thought process, and that those conversations are happening, speaks volumes just on that.
The bubble in a bubble in a bubble.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly.
You know, I thought this episode lacked a lot of things, but not thought-provoking content, for sure. It was very thought-provoking.
Yes, 100%. Kevo, you gave it a 9.
Yeah.
What wasn't quite perfect?
Well, and I even want to preface this with, it's a Doctor Who 9. I like to say that on our show a lot. Where if it's something that I love, I grade it by a different set of standards. Like Doctor Who, I always, I really, it's one of my top shows. So I look at it and view it differently. There's a lot of dings, though, and I don't not recognize that. There's a lot of things in this where you have to sort of connect the dots yourself. Like there is one line where the Doctor says, these things were made. They didn't come from the outside, but there's like 5 lines about the wilderness. So I can see where a lot of people were confused at times. And I think that's just a flaw that I Doctor Who always has a lot of dings like that, where I don't really feel like everything connects at first, or sometimes you have to sit with it for a while. To bring it back to Sean's point, though, I agree with a lot of what he said in terms of this isn't representative of all social media. I agree. I don't think it is. I do think it's representative of certain bubbles of social media, especially the type of bubble that is being represented here. Fine Time is basically Fire Festival. It's all the spoiled rich kids. Like, it is specifically trying to show a certain social sect. I've watched some behind the scenes stuff, but not a ton. So I haven't seen Russell say anything about whether or not he meant to be commenting on all social media. And so if he is, that's kind of lazy to paint everyone with that brush. But then I think about characters like Gothic Paul. That's what I was saying earlier about when Nick was making the point about Penny Pepper, the mom, where she has 3,000 subscribers. Gothic Paul has like 300. So there are people in this sphere, and it's specifically the people that, we think he's kind of a loser. He's played off as kind of a geek, and he has 300 subscribers. So I wonder if he has different behaviors than other people. I also, and I don't want to come for anyone, but everyone is all like Ricky September. I kind of still get kind of an ick vibe from Ricky September, though. Maybe it's not. But so, like, I knew what the twist was before this episode. I saw something on Twitter of someone talking about after the trailer, they weren't sure. They'd heard that they thought it was going to be a blind twist, that at the end, Lindy was going to find out the Doctor is black and then has a reaction. And so when they saw the trailer, they were like, I don't see how it can work. So that was in my mind the whole time. And so I was watching everything the whole time. I was watching Ricky September closely, wondering if he was going to turn on her. And I felt like the way that he talked to the Doctor was even kind of short. And a lot of people have been like, oh, but it was just a pressing situation. But I think that even maybe is part of the subtlety of what they were going for with all of the language, where you don't really notice and don't really think about what people are saying. And the way that she is kind of talking harder to the Doctor than she does to Ruby. She says, I thought you just looked like the same one, but you are the same one as before. Yeah. And guys, just listen to him. He'll be punished later. And believe me, I'm excited. But just listen to what he has to say. There's all those things throughout. And so I really wonder, and I'm totally willing to love Ricky September, but I'd love to have a better idea of what Russell's intention was there, because I was watching the whole time. And so every single one of those lines did hit me like, okay, this is what we're doing. But something else that really hit me, and it's a note I also saw on Twitter that has been sticking with me, is listen to the way Lindy even talks to herself. This is such an empathyless society. I think it is making a commentary on how when you put negativity out there and that is your focus, it turns inward on yourself. And that's part of where we started to empathize with her, because we all feel that way at times. And, we wanted Lindy to survive the way the Doctor does, kind of even at the end, because she is human. And I thought this performance was especially so brilliant. Because in the last minutes, you can see she's kind of not sure. She isn't sure if she's doing the right thing. But that final shot, the cold look on her face, she played so well. It chills me. And that's part of where this is a 9 for me. Because every episode is flawed. And it's especially flawed around the logic. Why is it alphabetical order? So many episodes that I love, I can go through and be like, this makes no sense. What do you mean Xander is the one who cast the spell that brought the demon to cause the musical episode of Buffy? And we don't care? We still don't care 22 years later. That just happens on these shows sometimes.
The only thing I care about there is that they got the mustard out.
They did. They really did. So, I also get the feels of the Doctor left them. But, you can't force people to accept your help sometimes. And I think this also, having that element to it, there was a lot. I think every episode is doing a lot. I've taken so much time, so I don't even want to go into how I feel like the themes of death in this season are like off the chain. But they're really doing so much every episode.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I kind of want to wait till the end of this season. We do have plans for the show with some interviews and whatnot after this ends, after Ncuti's final episode and going into next, later next month and whatnot. We have some plans, but I would like to maybe come back and re-review the whole thing when we have and maybe not when we get to the end. Maybe we still have too many things up in the air to do that, but do we come? I almost want to come back, watch the whole thing again, re-review everything with the context of now we have a complete story arc. Right. What did we miss? And that gives us another chance to really digest this, because there's a lot in this episode.
Lindy made me rethink Splice in Boom, because I didn't get a lot of her behavior, and it really made me think about how I don't think Lindy has a real perception of death. But I was like, no, Splice was focusing on the canister, and I don't think it came across. And so there's so many things that each episode is reflecting back on the others in so many ways.
That's fair. And Melanie, you gave it the Big 10.
I loved
it. Tell us everything. Why was this a 10?
Because not many shows for me will get me, because the thing is, I tend to be very spoiler free whenever I'm watching anything. When I'm on social media, if there's something new that's about to come out, I just don't go on social media, because that way I don't get spoiled. I don't like being spoiled. So I will actively go away from them. So I knew going into this nothing, which was perfect. And usually I like many other people, try to play the guessing game of what's going on, who's this, what's doing that, And when the twist happened, my jaw dropped when she threw Ricky right under the bus. And it was like, no, his last name's Combs. No, it's this. Da, 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 da. I was just like, wait, what? And then for me, I think we saw the most graphic death in Doctor Who to date.
Disney.
That Pink Mist. We saw Pink Mist. Whoa. Oh my. What? As someone who loved, I'm a fan of making horror movies and all that, and it was that. This was shot beautifully. There was some times, thinking how much, to the actress's credit, it's all CG. She's got a bubble over her head. It's all CG. How close that camera was to her face, and just how slow they would pan to her when they were trying to get her to turn off the bubble and look to your right, and her doing the looking to the right and seeing something fuzzy there, and even letting the audience kind of know that there was that I'm calling it the tardigrade, the slimy tardigrade, seeing it there, and she, to me, the tears this actress just kept dropping off her face. Oh my Lord. And it's when you find out, like Andrew brings it up, when she sees Ricky and it's her first hug. Little rich girl has never hugged anyone before, never held somebody's hand before, never done any of that. Her mommy and possibly daddy, whatever, her mommy took little rich girl, put all the other little rich parents, took their little
I'd buy you the moon.
Bought them a moon, stuck them on another moon, put them in their little protective bubble, and off they went. And they never been hugged. So for me, any of the tears she was shedding wasn't necessarily indicative of the emotions going in her head, but I think it was more of that subconscious emotion of sometimes the emotion just needs to be burst, needs to break free from the body, and that's what's coming out. That I thought, my Lord, because then I'm feeling for her. And then again, we get, Pink Mist's, Ricky. Oh my God. She can't walk. She can't do anything by herself. So you're like, oh my God, you're just this little veal. You this is all your life is. My God, the poor woman. Oh, wow. You're dark. The racism part. I adore that it was presented in a way that was subtle in the beginning, because evil isn't, and racism isn't always obvious. It's sometimes it is just this latent thing. You're not going to always have that person that's out there screaming slurs and throwing bottles and trying to do things that are very, very bad. You will have these things where all of a sudden you just, you have that somebody's talking, and sometimes that's a family member that you realize after the fact, when you realize, one of your grandparents says something, and you just have that whiplash moment of, what the I first kind of noticed it when we saw all of our screens and our friends, and everybody was in a certain hue. I'm kind of going, well, you would think further on that we're being a little bit more diverse, but okay. Some people have their fun groups and they stick to different things. Oh, surprise. But there was the little nuances and those little drops where you kind of start picking up. That's not right. And it's to the point of, I thought you were a different one.
Yeah.
And I'm going, you called somebody different, and you're even, for me, that was the first part where I realized, racist. You're calling them based on a skin tone, and you're not even giving them the credit of being a human being. You're just calling it that, you're the other one, like they're a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happened, and as we got to the point where I think when at the very end, oh my God, so cold too, when she just was like, oh yeah, he's fine. He went back to save people. Oh my Lord, girl, you will do anything to put a mask on and go live in your fairy tale little world. So everything's perfect and fine. When she started doing when it became more overt and becoming at that point obvious for the audience to kind of really go, wait, what's going on? When everyone's kind of starting to, cross the line here, across the finish line to going, we see what this is. You can even then, I think, see the doctor and bless Ncuti. You see in his face, he realizes it real quick what's happening. Watch Millie, Ruby Sunday. slowly it dawns on her. It dawns on him much faster of, oh, I know what this is. I like that he was trying to save them, not let them go off in there. Again, they're such idiots thinking, oh yeah, I couldn't walk straight without walking into a pole. We can go live in the wilderness and learn how to do things. Yay.
And their little jungle cruise boat going on.
Yeah.
It's a jungle cruise boat.
They got little quilts on.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. And the canopy on the top.
The horn.
Go into, you're off to go off in your little fantasy land. Good Lord. I liked Ricky's character. I liked how he read and he did stuff. He kind of felt a little bit older. My husband made the comment of, oh, are they all supposed to be in high school? Because this isn't gelling right when it comes to casting. I'm like, yeah, he's really pushing maybe the little past that 27 part here when it comes to Logan's run here of the age gap.
Lied about his age.
Lied about his age. Lied about his name. Lied about his age.
It's actually 20.
Ricky. I just thoroughly enjoyed the story. I liked that the racism was subtle and just it wasn't. I like that the social, to me, the social commentary was a little bit more subtle, and I felt more story pushed rather than all the other chords that are clearly being, hit weren't punch me in my face as previous seasons and sometimes had been, where I was one of those people who was complaining, going, look, I know what Orphan 55 is. It's gonna be Earth. Surprise, is climate change. I like a little subtle, and here's the thing: is I think he went subtle, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna give you subtle, but I'm gonna hit some hard topics, so buckle in." Also, yeah, but yeah, just another call out was one thinking back to the framing. The framing was when she's at her desk. There's one part where she's just sitting there, and the framing of it was she has this big window, but she's in front of it, and usually she's facing that way. So typically in art and in photography and everything, if you're going to frame your character, you want them, all the negative space to be in front of them. And here they did this thing.
Yes.
Which was, and then they had this big circle that was perfectly behind her. And for me, I'm going, what is she putting her back to? What is she really trying to hide from? So I thought there was a lot of that kind of stuff there. I really do want to go back and watch the whole thing again. I kind of did. Wasn't as great of a twist, because now how am I supposed to feel bad for her when I already know she's a demon at the beginning? But now I want to go in there with color, because I did notice color palettes were being used a lot as well. There's more warmer tones and all this other stuff. So to go back to you, Dave, I think I would love to be able to come back to these as the whole arc, and also just do a series almost of things we missed the first time around. So there's my long dissertation about why I absolutely adored this episode. I tend to rate if I love it and I know I'm going to rewatch it, and I have rewatched it, and that's how I give high ratings when it comes to Doctor Who. This was a 10. I love this thing. This was chef's kiss.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And yeah, go ahead, Kevo. I see your thing there. Go ahead and do the thing.
This is the one.
Yeah.
Yep. That was
it's almost like the window is the dot as well, like looming behind her, and like that foreshadowing. I also noted that, and I thought that was very interesting.
I really liked that, because I'm like, wait, what are you? Wait, yeah. My brain was just kind of just going crazy. Not just for, I'm like, what metaphor? What are you trying to tell me, RTD? What are you trying to show here? So
yeah, and just before I give my thing. Ramona mentions here, the doctor crying about the racism. I don't think the doctor was crying about the racism. The doctor was crying that they were going to die because they chose to be racists.
Yes.
That he could not save them. He could save them, and they would not allow him. They would not allow themselves to be saved by him.
I agree with that, but I do feel that it is a complex answer of why so many tears for the doctor. Is that it could be, hey, we're in a different world, a different timeline, or a different time, and all that kind of stuff. And look, Racism's still a thing. Yay.
Yeah.
Again, then compile that with him not being able to save them, them just choosing being stupid over everything else, and all that frustration kind of.
For sure. There's definitely more to it than the simplified one, for sure. And an elderly friend watched this and said it's a sci-fi version of a certain youth group in Germany in World War II.
Interesting.
I from a research standpoint can say, yeah, no, that's yep.
I'd have to personally would watch back to see where the parallels definitely are. I'm not saying that that's not a thing, because I'm like, ooh, correct, yeah.
But no, and then so for me, just because we're hitting that time frame.
Sorry.
No, this is my fault for rambling on for 15 minutes at the beginning. This is bad time management by the host, and
it's been wonderful.
It has. That's all of you have been wonderful, Sean included. I want there's so here's a nice thing here too. Dr. recognizing Mrs. Twist, and they're starting to. I didn't like that scene just because I didn't like that scene I didn't like the screens. That was I just didn't like that as an aesthetic of that scene. But the fact that they're starting to recognize it, and it started last week too. Like even in 73 yards, don't wait. You look familiar. And of course, she just come off the ambulance, so that was realized. Although someone pointed out they never actually saw her in the Devil's Cord.
They were facing away
from them the whole time.
Huh.
So she was. They did not see her in Wild Blue Yonder. They technically sort of saw her in Church on Ruby Road, but she looked very different. Ncuti wasn't. I mean, and it was not a good context. I barely recognized her, for heaven's sakes. Yeah. Right. So you start getting into it. They're only just starting to interact with her, and now they're starting to recognize her. I love that they put it together. It's like, yeah, she was the ambulance. No, she was more than the ambulance.
But what?
Right, and that which also brings up an extra. How did 73 yards work? Because that happened after the doctor was gone. But did they? And where is this spiral going? It was really interesting. Yes, and it was a very short clip in Space Babies.
Yeah, she was one of the crew members who left.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But it's I can definitely see now that this would be when they would start picking it up, because now they are starting to interact with her a little bit more directly. And we are getting next week to be really interesting.
Susan's like the bad wolf,
Yeah,
because Susan Twist this season.
And yes, there was another. There was no snow in this episode unless you count the analog static, electronic static.
Huh. There was no really.
And there was there's no snow since 73 yards. When she said, I used to be able to make snow. Whether that's just a timing thing, I don't know. That might be looking too deep into it. But
the vibe I'm getting is that it feels like Ruby snows at moments when she feels a huge sense of abandonment.
Yeah.
And that just didn't come up in this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, yeah, she was one of the lunch ladies in the canteen, but she was never facing the Doctor and Ruby. She was there, but her back was turned to them until they turned around, and then she turned around. But yeah, no, I think that's going to be next week is going to be the most interesting of all of them, because we know that Susan Twist, we get Susan Triad in the finales, and I don't know if it's in both of them or one of them or where she's going to land in those. I haven't looked. But next week will be very interesting. So what does she play? Because it sounds like she's like a painting or something.
The portrait.
The portrait. There we go. That's what it is. So it's like that could be exactly. Is this just a portrait? Who knows? So that's going to be the most interesting.
Oh, I hope it's like a portrait of Dorian Gray kind of thing.
I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. Anyway. That's what I'm hoping.
That could be. Yep. But no, as we always say, there is always a twist at the end, but there isn't today. I got home. I got
So
stuff. I
tired.
got themes and stuff done for my interview with Sean. And
You've done so good, though. You have done so well.
And you're still in the middle of the marathon. You've got a
Yeah.
broadcast later tonight. So
exactly.
you
So
know.
I do, and I have a little bit of time. Maybe I'll get. I doubt I'll get a chance. I'd like to get a food in me. I'll see if I can make one happen for the box opening. But so if not, or maybe I'll have it recorded for Friday and y'all can show it then. I don't know. We'll see something. No, she was not the one who gave the tea to them. That was still the other one.
Oh.
But yeah, it was. So yeah, it was. I fairly certain. Anyways, so yeah, there is no twist at the end. But yes, thank you for forgiving me, Andrew. I feel terrible. A double twist next week, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll figure something out. Sean is listening to this, going, "What are you talking about?" Every week I've been doing a
play it anyway.
segment.
Do we still have it?
Yeah, I've been going through
Play the
every
one.
appearance of hers, making a different joke every time.
Ooh.
So yeah, if you, if
We like to have fun.
who may know Steve Boots on the ground on TikTok and on YouTube, that's kind of where my inspiration is. He's a Canadian, mostly not entirely, but mostly political commentator. He's absolutely wonderful. Go watch him if you're Canadian. If you're American, go check him out anyway because it's fun and it's TikTok. It's a few minutes. But let's we're gonna come around. We'll end on Sean here. But Kevo, where can we find you as we close out the show? What do you got coming on in the next little bit?
X's for Show is where you can find us over on our channel. What have we got going on? This past weekend, we did the series finale of Star Trek Discovery. And so immediately we're going to be doing the premiere of Acolyte at some point. Maybe tomorrow, maybe this weekend. We're mixing it up with exactly when we're dropping our broadcast. But the fact of the matter is, it's X's for Show. We broadcast every single week, all the time. So come hang out with us. We'll definitely be covering Drag Race All-Stars 9 this weekend. We got to see Trixie Mattel in concert last week. That was a lot of fun. She dances like a Muppet. My husband's in the room. Hi, Bear. And come check us out at X's for Show. And Friday, yes, no, absolutely. I might have some guests with me to help me run this Friday's broadcast. I promise it won't be anyone too crazy, but
I don't believe
it'll be
you.
fun. Don't believe me.
Knowing the people in your sphere, I don't believe you.
Well, and that's all I meant. It's people in my sphere. I didn't say they weren't crazy like me.
Okay, that's fair. Like this group is probably the most sane people in your sphere, and that's terrifying in and of itself.
Sean is never coming back.
Yes, yeah, there we go. Sean is the most sane of all of us.
I wouldn't count on that, but I appreciate the sentiment.
What the hell?
Rev, where can we find you?
Well, as Dave had to resubscribe to me because he was the one that left. You catch me on my YouTube page. Faithful Dave came back, so 123 subscribers. Catch me on
yes.
Tasty Cake, TASE, capital T, period, KAAAKE, exclamation point. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. And then you can look at my message board up there. Look there. There's X's for Show, Mackenzie, Gadget.
Oh.
I can fix Dave's.
Yeah, but I'm there.
Nick needs the logos. I need to fix his. And my boss, James Von Bolt. Von Bolt, Velvet Chains, and The Adversaries, if he ever watches it.
Fabulous. And Nick, where are you? What have you got going on? Anything
I've
interesting?
got going on this Sunday. I'll be at the East Midlands Convention. So come see me, or just visit me at #NickSmithFilms. I put pictures online. You can come take a look.
Ooh, I love it.
Yay.
And Melanie, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Pieces of Melee. It's over here in this area. I don't know how long the TARDIS is going to be at downtown or Disney Springs. If it's still there this weekend, I'm going to try going out there to see it live. See maybe if anyone wants to do a meetup. That kind of fun. Otherwise, I'm on Pieces of Melee. I've been working like crazy, so I'm still working like crazy.
Have a Star Wars themed drink for me.
That will be June 18th.
Okay.
I'm going to be at I'm planning on going to Oga's Cantina, and I will pick you up that tiki cup so that you have a matching one that matches mine. Anybody else needs
happy.
orders, let me know. Anybody else wants anything, let me know, because I will be drinking at 10:30. Ooh, Lord. You get 45 minutes in there, so you just have to get going.
Exactly. And our very special guest, thank you again, Sean. Once again, Sean joined me a few moments ago, just before this. We had a great conversation. I just realized I had the wrong image up there. Sorry about that, Sean. And yeah, no, we have. There we go. So tell us who you are, where we can find you.
All about yourself.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm Our Philosophy Is. I'm still on. Or I don't know why I said still. My channel has not been taken down, to my knowledge, since I started talking to you guys. I'm on YouTube. If you want to hear me talk about my rambling thoughts that have to do with the broader concepts that are only tangentially related to Doctor Who, as I did today, you can follow me on my channel. And if you guys don't mind, I just wanted to add, I really appreciate you having me here. You reminded me of some things. I mean, this episode was beautifully shot. Murray Gold was really popping off this episode, who just did fantastic.
Yes.
Beautifully acted. The colors are fantastic. I felt so bad for coming in here and doing that, because you guys are such a positive group of people. It's so beautiful. And you know, even though this episode didn't work for me, I'm still proud to be a Whovian and be part of this whole thing. And it's you know, this is a great show. And I appreciate you guys having me. And I just wanted to say, celebrating the accolade, June the 4th be with you. So.
No, thank you again, Sean, for coming. You've been wonderful. Like I said, if for those who didn't catch it, you can pop back onto either my channel or The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS and watch my conversation with Sean from Our Philosophy Is. And again, you can find him on his YouTube channel at Our Philosophy Is 9119. Technically, is the URL for that. So please check that out. John Barrowman was just announced at a local con as a guest in September. Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yay for John Barrowman. So yeah, no, thank you. And as for me, like I said, I kind of skipped past my rating. 8.6. Everything everyone else said was great. I want to dig into this way more. Like I said, there's just so many layers to this that every time something comes up, I'm like, oh. So yeah, I think there's nothing more that I can add to the conversation that hasn't been added. I really liked it. I loved it. I want to watch it again. I did actually have it on even before Sean came on. I got a message. I hear that I wasn't on camera. That I hear the Doctor Who theme. He's like, yeah, because I was just finishing watching the episode as I was setting up again. I'm watching it again. But yes, please join us again on Friday. I don't know that I'll be here. But join us on Friday for Rogue, Kevo, and friends, and who knows who else will show up. Let's bring that comment back up, because that's a very valid question. Sean, Andrew would like to know what your favorite episode was this season.
This season, I'm going to go with Boom, because I just feel like, you know, I love my Stephen Moffat episodes. I'm a sucker for Stephen Moffat's writing, but I'd say, like, I don't know if you consider the specials to be part. They're not technically part of this season, but Wild Blue Yonder for me, I just heaped so much praise on that episode on my channel. It's probably my top 5 Doctor Who episodes, and there's a lot of Doctor Who episodes, you know.
Yes, there are.
So, yeah, for sure. Boom and Wild Blue Yonder.
Excellent.
Good picks.
Yeah, no, and Sean, like I said, we'll talk more after this, and you are more than welcome to come back anytime. You've been a delight. For everybody,
thank you so much.
Everyone else, I mean, all of you are all delightful. But yes, I'll be opening that box in about 90 minutes from now.
TikTok.
My secret box, and there's a reason why that box is covering things up.
Oh, you made the cover. I see.
I covered the cover.
Somebody done use some layers.
I know, because like I said, I know what's in this box. I just don't know what's in the box. I know where it came from. I know who sent it. I know what it is.
We're the suckers here that have to wait.
Y'all are the suckers who have to wait, but I'm the one who's painfully having to not open it. Like,
yeah.
So please, we will see you back on my channel in about 90 minutes. That is, of course, youtube.com/TheRatHole DOTCA. Good night, Andrew.
Good night, Andrew.
By all means, like I said, we'll do the video that everyone.
Yep.
Scrolly. We have too many things.
The
now.
Tron.
There we go. The Tron video. There we go. So yes, thank you all for watching, and we wait for the next one to come up here. Make sure you like this video, and of course all of our pages. Keep commenting because we can bring your comments up even throughout the last theme. Share this video out. Share the video that we just did out. Share the next video out. Subscribe both here to all of our channels, Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, X's for Show. Our philosophy is Reverend Amagon and Tasty Cake. Nick doesn't have his own channel, and Melanie doesn't have her own channel, but she's on Instagram. So yes, subscribe all of the places. Thank you guys very, very much, and I hope to see all of you shortly. In the meantime, Tony, take us away.